Wonderful. All right. Hi, everyone. This is Marilen Crump. I am shouting out from Virginia here on the East Coast. It is almost 6:30 p.m. and we're going to be doing our fun Q&A for those who own businesses, have run brands, maybe there's a nonprofit that you're managing, anything that has to do with business strategies in general, and then marketing as well. So I have some fun questions that I'll be answering that's already been submitted. But if you have anything that you would like answered, then I'm here to share some of my perspective. I'm not going to say that I know everything. And it's also a learning experience for me as well. So we're jumping on here and seeing just how things are going on, but definitely leave a hello in the comments and share what you do as well. So we can network a little bit on this live stream. So, hello on Facebook, hello on LinkedIn, and looking forward to a really fun discussion. So, I'm not sure if our internet's strong this time of day. So, that's another thing that we will be checking out. And let me just see if there's any other thing I need to work on in this setting. If you see some comments from Kay, KC, she is going to be helping as well. She is one of my wonderful assistants. And what's great about her is that she is also on the lookout to make sure that you're taken care of. We have some great resources that we want to share. I just love the fact that, we've really established a fun team with what we do. And most of what's happening these days is making sure that we're getting out there, finding out about people's needs and ways that we can help one another succeed in this world. So, welcome. Today is November 7th, 2024. And I'm always eager to learn more about many processes as I share what I've learned. All right, so we're going to flash a couple of really fun questions as well. And also want to go ahead and give, while we're starting, shout out to Key Jones for sharing some great pointers as well. Key is on LinkedIn, and great information was just shared about things to keep in mind when it comes to AI and innovation. So I appreciate that very much. And I'm always open to receiving tips and ways that we can expand our learning as well. So we have Casey saying yay, whoop, whoop, testing out our posts here. So if you're on LinkedIn, you're going to see that we have our post that we're going to post to your comments as well. So feel free to type it in. We're just warming up. We're officially starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So we have 3 minutes as well. So fantastic stuff. All right. A little bit about me as we get going. I've been in business since the year 2000, started my career in college as a marketing person. Mainly back then, we were just jumping onto the internet back in the year 2000. There was a lot of wonderful innovations happening. People were creating websites and it was brand new. People were thinking, wow, this is a big shift versus trying to market only by paper means, the phone book, etc. So it's really interesting to see now, 24 years later, almost 25 years now, there's AI coming about. It feels like it felt for me before, where you're anticipating all the changes that would be happening in the world and just trying to navigate how to bridge what you're currently doing into what will be occurring in the future and perhaps the near future. And most of the people that I serve are visionaries. They love conceptualizing fantastic ideas and working their way to monetizing those ideas. I'm a big believer that we can share our resources and create these win-win-win scenarios. So it's a win for you as a business owner, a win for the people that you're serving, but then anybody you're collaborating with. there should also be that in turn. I look at business and relationships as not just a one person operation. It is something that we can do as a team, whether that person's internal to your organization or you've aligned with somebody and created things like channel partnerships, sponsorships, different types of reciprocal type of relationships. I feel like we can definitely strengthen ourselves there. I'm a member of our 212 organization here based in Virginia. Richmond, Virginia is where the main headquarters is at. And we have a team here in Yorktown, Virginia, where I'm honored to be the chair. And our goal weekly is to help one another. And our team is called Inspiring Profits. So this live stream is pretty much an extension of all of that. I'm on the board of the York County Chamber of Commerce. And our mission right there is to help our small businesses in our county and also beyond. So anybody who does business in the county, we love having you as a member and figuring different ways out to help you. And this is just another extension yet again. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and I'm not seeing Casey. If you can tell me like how many people are on live there. I see sometimes people pop up here and there in our Facebook. So, hello, Facebook. And if you're watching the replay, please let me know that. And then if you want to see the version of me facing the camera, I will send it over to you. All right. So, I'm going to move to displaying some of the fun comments. So that way we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to go with one that's not attributed to a particular profile here on LinkedIn, but I feel like is a great starter question. So, here we go. The first question we're going to talk about in our Q&A is how can I make my brand resonate more deeply without overwhelming myself or my team with content creation? Okay. Part of this question is the word overwhelm. I totally understand that. I am a mother of 5, juggling many different things in my business, and overwhelm can be very important. A important thing to get over, right? Like first, like what overwhelms you? Like where are your boundaries? You have to keep that in mind first because your health, mental health, your emotional health to me is always going to be a priority. Casey says we have 3 people on here right now. Fantastic. So please introduce yourself in the comments because I cannot see the way I'm broadcasting here. I don't know who's on, so I'd love to see. Just wave and put your name up. That would be great. But in the first part of the answer would be you have to manage things where it makes sense for you, right? We don't ever want to do so much where or already thinking about how overwhelming it is, and if we can leverage other people or technology and ways to make things easy so that we're not overwhelmed, I think that's a very, very important thing. So I see Renee, I see Lisa, and Lisa, thanks for submitting a question. We're definitely going to get to yours as well. And one of the things that I like about this question is it says resonate more deeply. So if you're creating content and it resonates, it's almost like you don't have to keep overwhelming us with more and more content. If there's something that you post and that's really impactful, I would rather have quality versus quantity. And if you can take that same thought and leverage it in different ways, then you're not redesigning and creating new content. You're just finding ways to help that one message reach a larger audience. So instead of creating things that may be too time consuming, if you have a really good point to share, expand that one point and put it in different reaches of online and even ask other people to share along with you. I was at a networking event recently, and one of my really good friends, Chris Davidson, who is very active here on LinkedIn, look him up. And he's also very active in helping with change in the community, especially the business community. So we see each other in person at this networking event, and he proceeds to say, "Hey, you know what? Marilyn and I are LinkedIn buddies. Every time I post something, she shares it, and then I don't mind sharing what she's posting." That's fantastic, right? So I don't have to feel overwhelmed to try to get more views on a piece of content because I have a really fantastic friend who is always on the lookout, sharing what I have to share. So think about your alliances and think about how you can expand beyond just you, yourself, and I, right? And then really then utilize other people's strengths and energy to get yourself out there. So that's a pretty good question. And when you talk about your brand, be consistent. People will understand you better if your messaging doesn't change so wildly all over the place. So that's going to be my main tips for that question. So we see Lisa on here. There's Renee, and then thanks for the wonderful comment, Renee. I'm excited that you're here. Okay, so anybody else popping in, feel free to introduce yourself because we do want to show you off as the wonderful professional that you are. So hopefully my question helps some of you out there and you could keep a couple things in mind. But since we do have Lisa, I'm going to go ahead and skip to your question here. And if you have a question, feel free to put it in the comments and I'll be able to throw that on there. So, hi, Richard. Thanks for coming on. And Lisa, thanks for this one. So, Lisa says, do you know of any AI that can turn a blog post into a video that reads the post? Also, any AI that will read out loud whatever you put into the app? And then, how do you recycle content? So, wonderful points. And I've been spreading the word everywhere about AI and just how useful certain platforms are. And of course, experimenting with other things out there. As far as like a blog post goes, I think it's easier for some of these platforms when you can first convert the written word into spoken. What I mean by that is versus like going from text to video, I haven't seen a lot of them do it that smoothly just yet. But I'm going to mention a platform called 11 Labs. So, 11 Labs, you can pick a variety of different AI voices, and pretty much you could just copy what you have in your blog post, stick it in that platform, and then it will, depending on the voice that you choose, have a voice over that's already ready as an MP3 that you can download, etc. Not a bad price for what it is. I have like the middle tier level, I believe, that can produce more higher quality outputs, and also you have more credits. So a lot of these platforms work on credits, but you can, I believe, test out 11 Labs for free from what I can remember on that part and see which kind of voice resonates with you. So you also have to think about like if you're a personal brand, is it okay to have another voice, supplementing for you? You can clone your voice, and you as long as you have a good setup, like if this microphone is like one of the recommended ones, then I should be able to fully clone my voice. I have tried cloning my voice. There's one thing about the way I speak that is, to me, you can hear if it's AI because it doesn't have a lot of the giggling, the the inflections, the excitable kind, and it just sounds like I'm really sleepy because I'm always laughing about something internally, so that comes out when I'm talking, and with the AI, it sounds like me, but it sounds like, "Hi, everybody, this is Marilen Crump, and I'm probably a little sleepy as I talk to you." That's what it sounded like to me, like it had just a tinge of too steady. It's too steady. My voice, when I hear it play back or when I watch myself, it's more there's a lot of variety and I make sounds all the time. Especially if I teach dance, I'm saying things like whoop and weep. And so the AI doesn't make those noises just yet. I'm sure that's coming, but that's the only thing about like cloning my voice. Now, if you have a pretty good steady voice, some people are, they have lovely voices that definitely, I wouldn't be able to tell if they were a a cloned voice because they're just very steady. People who are maybe radio personalities, other people who've done podcasting for a long time, they know how to be steady. But I like the mistakes that we make as humans, and Lisa is talking about, it could be missing the humanity in the way we translate our cloning voice. I believe that that's where it's at this moment. However, who knows how it's going to develop? Part of what I heard from some of the innovations from, I believe it's called and don't quote me on this, but Google had something, it was maybe called Storm. It had something to do with weather, but the 2 AIs were talking and there was giggling and breathing and, "Oh," and that kind of thing going through there. So, there probably is the tech right now that has that, but on a commercial level, I haven't been able to really see that through my testing as well. Now, so if I start from that to answer your original question here, I would start with building that first, and what I've seen with some of the video generators, it's taking what we call B-roll and plopping it into, some of the structure, and B-roll is, like, things that people take on the side, like, it's more of like a dressing video where it's like a tone of something. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this correctly. So, it may not be like somebody teaching a class, maybe it's a B-roll of a book opening or a flower blooming or a butterfly flying by, depending on, like, what you're trying to illustrate in the mode or the blog or whatever it is that you're converting into this video. What I find is that it's not consistent visually because it's pulling from so many different clips out there. So you could have something that's high contrast, then you have something that's kind of like low lighting, and it just feels jarring when you're seeing, like, different things come about. Now, Casey's on here, she's my assistant, she's been playing with a couple of things, and she hears from me all the time. I go, "I don't like it. It's too random. Like, I want something just more steady, just keep my face on there, and we can add a few graphics here and there, but I just don't like that it's not visually cohesive." I'm big on tones, matching tones, and putting things together where from quick glance, you go, "Okay, that's Marilyn style," or, "I really like that." There's something about that, either graphic, poster, video, whatnot, that makes it very appealing, and that's my aesthetic, and I feel like right now, taking those shortcuts doesn't give you that full aesthetic, but it's coming about, okay? You could find some, if you're doing content like this, like pre-doing it, recording it, and it's more of a stream of consciousness thing, what I find that's really been helpful is, things like Opus Clip. So you might wanna write that one down, Lisa. Opus Clips can take the long form video that you're doing, clip it, you can save the kind of font style, et cetera, that you want, and that's a good way to recycle content that is produced by AI. So it's gonna give you a score of whether or not, that type of video will go viral and what kind of, type of reach it might get, and it gives you, like, A, B, C, D, or whatever, so it's pretty cool. And, so, yeah, so Casey says consistency and cohesiveness. Yep, exactly right. So I'm picky, but I feel like if I'm picky, then that means I care. And then if I care, I'm trying to produce the best content out there. So I'm going to flash a name here. Richard is amazing. So if y'all haven't connected with Richard, please do. He is the creator founder of Go Brunch. Fantastic community there. I love the AI stuff that Richard's putting into that platform where you can design a space just by prompting, um, and it's immersive, visually rich spaces. So we're talking about consistency and cohesiveness. If you want a meeting space that has your brand, then Go Brunch is definitely something I highly recommend that you guys check out. And so we're kind of converging our AI technology, the ways that we can connect as humans into a room. I just think it's brilliant. So kudos to Richard for creating that and for really being very involved in the way we use it and learn about it. So I feel that that's super important. Okay, I'm gonna skip to the next question here, unless you all have some questions that you wanna type into, so maybe there's something that we're talking about and it just stirs up another question, or it can be completely from left field. Totally don't mind, thinking through it with you. So this one is from Jay Grant. He, is like a wonderful person here locally who is a big part of LISC, which is an nonprofit organization that helps businesses. Um, and Lisa said, "Did you say Opus?" Yeah, Opus Clips. You should be able to. It'll probably pop up right away as soon as you start searching for it, but pretty good, very reasonable pricing, I like it. So, Jay asks this question: "What is the biggest missed opportunity in marketing and outreach that you see in emerging businesses that, as a result, slows growth?" Okay, so I again, fantastic layers into the question. Missed opportunity is kind of like a big deal in my brain because you leave a lot of funding on the table if you're not thinking very thoroughly about ways that you can put outreach out there. And so one thing, just want to say hello. Oh, thanks for watching from Zambia. Platine, nice to see you here. All right. So when we are looking at our businesses and we think about, okay, who am I trying to reach and where can they find me? Um, I was just talking to one of my wonderful clients. She does travel planning, and she has this platform that she can utilize that displays the expertise that she has in different localities in the world. So one of the places that she used to live in, Puerto Rico and then the Caribbean, she's pretty much an expert, but she hadn't put it out there. So it was a missed opportunity for her business to not have put that expertise into that platform. And once she did, literally within a week, high top paying client landed in her lap from just that one update for posting her expertise on the correct platform. So let's talk about LinkedIn. It's a platform. Do you have your expertise properly highlighted in a platform like this that you should foundationally just have there? So I always say if there's a new platform, especially if it's a free platform, right now I've been trying to tell people about Substack. Go there, claim your name, list your expertise. You just never know who is going to see it. And then inquire more about that particular expertise that you have so that they can then connect with you, and then there you go, bridging different types of places to find new clientele and new connections. Um, so another thing in marketing and outreach is that, especially if you're talking about growth, you have to be intentional every week. You have to technically have a goal every day. If you don't have a goal and you're not being intentional, it doesn't just come to you. We're so distracted. There's so many things and challenges that we're all facing. You cannot take it easy in some cases. Like you can't just go, okay, I updated my LinkedIn. Now I'm going to get a million clients. That just doesn't work that way, right? We have to provide value wherever we go. And I think if you are an emerging business, you don't quite have that muscle yet to do your own legwork, to do your own hustle work, right? We're not saying like, stress yourself out. Just have a goal. And it could be something as simple as I'll attend a networking meeting either online or in person once a week, right? And then try to build that into your life because one, you're going to be in touch with the market. You can have people ask you questions that will keep you on your toes. I think too, emerging businesses may not be as articulate with their brand story, and putting yourself out there in different environments, whether or not it's the best environment, is going to sharpen you as the main storyteller of the brand and the main person who's fulfilling the mission of the company. And I think if you put yourself out there, there's so much more you can learn from others as well. So, Miss Yolanda, nice to see you. I hope you're enjoying our Q&A tonight. Very casual. I'm just here to share thoughts. Thank you to those who've submitted questions in advance. And hopefully, I have some great insights that I can share with you guys, and that will help move the needle. So, thanks, Jay. Hopefully, that answers the question. And if you think that I should mention something else that I didn't say when answering some of these questions, share your expertise because I know the people that I'm connected with, especially here in LinkedIn, are knowledgeable people and that you all also have answers for these very same questions. So I'm totally open to you guys sharing away in the comments too. So we're doing this for one another. And now we have the next question. Could you shed some light on which other industries are currently seeing the most benefit from revenue marketing strategies? Also, any best practices you've seen in this area? So thank you, Islam Guda, for the question. The the preempt to this question was that Islam did a talk somewhere about how revenue marketing emerged from Silicon Valley. And apologize, the text here only had but so much room, so I couldn't add that first line in the question that you said. So there's revenue marketing, yes, and then there's also, like, kind of a cost-conscious marketing, cost-centric marketing. So what we mean by that is in Silicon Valley, when that came about, the revenue marketing strategies, most of it was data-driven. It was, trackable, and of course, because if you're coming from the tech world, you wanna see, like, the how things connect, and a lot of times, like, people do love that, and especially if you're doing Google advertising, Facebook advertising, where you can see how many people were reached and what time of day for certain things, how many times they've called, what their ROI is because you have a Google Pixel tracking it from, like, the advertisement to the website to the CRM. I mean, all those great things, and a lot of people really highly boost that up and would say that that's, like, priority. And if even you ask AI or you do Google searches, it's kind of like, yes, revenue marketing is the best thing. And it's funny because the bias on the cost conscious, the cost centric one, it's like, oh, well, some people are just being too general. Like, why would you spend money in a general sense of your marketing when you cannot track it? Right. So, and some people really kind of down that saying, oh, just brand awareness is not cool, and I'll tell you an example. So, if let's say you are a small business and you're, attending like we just had a Yorktoberfest for York County, and that is one of those things that I can't measure that. Me showing up at that big field, setting up a tent and saying hello to people, seeing if they'll enter our raffle, that's hard to track, like, as people are coming in, and some people are like, "Well, why would we spend money on that, especially as a sponsor who has to pay, like, $1,000? Why don't we just spend it on revenue marketing strategies?" That's revenue based from point A to point B, I can track that, and that's more exciting. I think having both is smart. My opinion with that is that you can combine and you could see, like, how some brands really do it well, where they could take, like, more of a in-person marketing, brand awareness type of situation, and then double up on that through revenue marketing strategies, where then they could say, "Anybody who was in the vicinity of that Yorktoberfest that weekend, can we now do some directed revenue marketing towards that type of demographic?" To me, you can extend the strategies that you do on that side with the brand awareness that you do on the other end of it and combine both of it. So I see strengths in both. I think anything that's a strategy in the first place is fantastic instead of just saying, I just spent money on business cards, so therefore I'm not doing anything else. Like that's a loss. Like that's a big miss in my opinion when you're not doing other things to at least just test it because not everything will work for every business. Not everybody has the same budget. Some people would rather, do things that they can test and get that awareness on how it did, but then other people are like, I love the community, and anytime I could be out and about and shaking hands with people is a good thing. And so we, of course, just had some elections happening, right? And so if you look at that world, if you're making those face-to-face touch points, there's different things that people used for just that, right? They would go and have talks. They would have a coffee with some smaller group, and then they'll go and campaign in a big, larger group, put signs out different places, give people awareness by having them leverage the signs and put it in their yards. And then they'll use email targeted marketing. Then they'll put ads out there it's all inclusive. And if we just look at how we might be utilizing that same type of tactic for our businesses, think of your business as a campaign. And that's what marketing campaigns are, right? You look at the different ways that you could put your brand and get the conversation started. And it doesn't always have to be, I'm going to buy an ad. It could be, let me sit down in front of a group and tell them about what I do, like maybe do some public speaking. I know Renee Reich does that. Start your own series of talks. This will be one way to kind of get out there and see just how things are resonating with people. So hopefully that helps you out with that. And Yolanda says, it's an honor to attend your Zoom. I'm very honored that y'all are here and that you're spending time and that we're all learning from one another. So thank you for that. And thanks people on Facebook. So if you're from Facebook and you want to jump on LinkedIn, that's also cool. And you can also, so Brandy says yes. She says this on Facebook. And let me get my glasses because that phone's too close. Okay. Brandy says yes. Obsessed with tracking over here. It's how we can figure out what works. Yeah. So in some places, especially if you have somebody above you and they're asking about reports from your budget, you kind of have to do the revenue marketing strategy hot and heavier because they're going to look at you and go, well, we couldn't measure that, right? I find that in organizations to please everybody, a lot of times the revenue marketing strategy is heavily leaned upon versus other types of marketing strategies. So I totally get it. I just feel like sometimes like unique awareness is like much more lasting in certain ways, especially if you have other people going in there with you. So I've done an open house for several clients where they'll do a launch and we say, hey, get some sponsors in there and then let them help you. So in a way, it's kind of backwards. You're instead of spending money for marketing, if you have sponsors, you're actually bringing in revenue for that marketing, which is always exciting that way, right? You're not coming out of pocket, but then they get something out of it by aligning their brand with you and bridging all of these audiences together so that there's more impact and power because of like one effort, because people are sharing in that effort. So thank you for saying the lessons are practical and true to life. Absolutely. And I'm always out there trying to figure out ways to expand just my thinking too. So I do appreciate that very much. Okay, so now we answered Lisa's and Islam's question. And then let's see, we talked about the overwhelm. And then here's one good one here. This question says, how can I expand my reach without losing touch with the close connections I've built? Oh, and I'm sorry for those on Facebook because look, my phone ran out of battery and it shut down. So we'll try again next time. and I'll know to charge my phone. Okay, so how can I expand my reach without losing touch with the close connections I've built? Okay. This is good. So there's two parts to this. I like these questions because they're layered pretty well. But expand my reach and then losing touch. Part of the first question I'll ask would be, and this is for everybody, how do you keep in touch? Like, what is your best practice for keeping in touch with people? I know for me that I'm aware of those who utilize certain platforms and that I always see them pop up on, let's say, if I see you pop up all the time on LinkedIn, then I know that that's going to be the best place for me. So if I'm keeping track of that, let's say on an app or a platform like Notion, Notion, it's a great database. I can quickly just like click a bunch of different buttons to see like, okay, this person is pretty prominent in LinkedIn. This person's prominent in IG, and this person here is Facebook, etc. Right? I want to know first, like, where's your preference? I want to meet you where you're at, and I don't have to do a lot of maybe extra time in order to just touch base or send an invite. One of the things that I like doing is that if I know there's something that is good for my business, but then I think who else would benefit from either knowing about this event or attending this summit or reading this book, etc., then I want to make sure that I'm bringing that to the table. So I'll just pop in and say a note and say, "Hey, I tagged you at this cool event that I see that's happening tomorrow. See if if you're interested in it. I'll find out more information. I'll share it with you if I hear more about it. But I just thought that this might be of interest to you." Anytime you're staying connected, I fully enjoy giving gifts like that, and I fully enjoy receiving gifts like that. So, your own way of being present and providing goodness out there should be the way you stay connected with people. It doesn't even matter what platform they're on. Some people are just email types. Some people are good with you texting and saying, quick hello, like, "Thought about you earlier, saw your logo in a program, congratulations." Right? I think too, like, for certain platforms like LinkedIn, they present you that option. So how many times have you seen it and just kinda go, "Oh, scroll past that suggestion from LinkedIn?" I wouldn't. One of the things if someone says, if LinkedIn says, "Congratulate so and so, they just celebrated this or they have a new position," hit that, heart or give an emoji or just say congratulations. I think that goes a long way. And in the sense of algorithms too, it knows that we're connecting. So then therefore, you'll see me and I'll see you much better because of that one quick touch point on the tech end of it. So expand my reach without losing touch. It's just a matter of finessing what your intentions are week to week on keeping those touch points going. And believe me, if you are a good connector and you are utilizing different things to create those deeper relationships, then they will spread the word about you. And it's almost like you expand your reach without trying so hard to be there for everyone and then neglecting people you've already connected with. Case in point, I see people from time to time, they'll go to these different events and they're networking collecting all these cards, right? "Oh, let's get together for a coffee," and they're so excited about the new people that they haven't talked to the older people in several months or maybe even over a year. And it's like, whoa, you are missing that opportunity to really deeply have a better connection. And it's just something that, we have to keep in perspective. Like, are we too excited to see the new face versus should we be as excited to kind of see somebody you've seen multiple years in a row and just say, you know what? I love that you keep showing up here. I know what you're about. I know that I can refer people who need this to you. It's that sense of camaraderie and solid connections that I truly enjoy. And then to me, it just kind of grows from there. So that's super wonderful. There are some great places that you can find those types of things. People like Richard always knows if there's like an event happening on someone's Go Brunch. There's fantastic groups here that will have different events that they know about, and there's threads that I'm in that I love that people are not shy about sharing whether they're about to do like an audio live, etc. So I feel like that's pretty cool. Is there anything that you all are doing that we should be aware of? So speaking of getting connected and utilizing each other as a network, is there something that you'd like to share? Please post it in the comments if there's an event that you have coming up or there's something that you do on a regular basis that we can connect with. I'd love to share it here. And also, it might jog into my brain something that I need to share with you or a person that I need to connect you with, etc. So I think that would be a really fun thing to see in the comments. KC as well has if you share, if you don't want to put it in the comments, but you want to just DM me with your email, Casey and I will send you a recent publication that we just made to give you some tips on AI. And I'm gonna try to do like videos on those same tips because sometimes it's like I don't have time to read, and I'm sure you all don't either. So kind of like what Lisa was saying, can somebody just voice over this blog? And speaking of that, actually, let me go back to what Lisa had said. Okay, so blog into a video. It's just so nice for certain things to have different formats for, like, if I'm working on something, I love listening to audio because I'm receiving that information. I'm sure some of you are huge Audible fans because you can technically read a book without reading the book, right? So you can keep your eye on the road, or you can keep your eye on, like, whatever task that you're working on, getting things done around the house, but also taking in some good learning points. So if Lisa did have her blogs in an audio format, I think that's pretty cool because sometimes I don't need to watch things necessarily. I just need to hear them, right? One thing I like about Substack, and I can't add it in the comments here, but you can find me on Substack. I have 2 accounts on there because I'm always testing things, so my apologies. I'm sure whichever one you subscribe to is totally fine. But what's nice about Substack is that it has, um, like a quickly made audio format. So if you were to upload an MP3, it looks really good. It has a really nice playable housing, as an interface, and what I mean by that is that you don't have to overthink. You just upload the MP3, and then it creates one of those, like, really cool graphics that has the play button. You can even upload, like, whatever background you want on there, and then you can subdivide your Substack to have, like, just all your listings of podcast style things, which technically to me could just be audio library. Like, you don't have to call it podcast. You can just say audio library. And then within a, article, you can have that you can have the audio there, so it's on the top, so if someone just wants to play it, maybe just skim along the reading. It's very convenient, and you don't have to know lots of tech. You just kind of plop, plop, copy, paste, and that's another big thing that I like about that platform. Lisa also said, "Or I could copy paste article I want to read and have it read it for me." Absolutely. That is super cool. And I don't know about, how many people know about this. You can even monetize certain things like that or start building a YouTube channel, etcetera. And one thing, that I'm seeing a whole lot of is that people are taking public domain works and turning them into audio readings with different voices because some people might be like, "I want somebody who is, like, a slow and, like, meditative type of voice to read this one thing for me," or I want somebody who's, like, peppy and it's giving me, like, ooh, like, really fun emotions hearing this voice. So you can take the same book that's public domain and then turn that into new works of audio using the same exact text and maybe generate 10 different, versions from that. It's amazing. So I'm seeing people really monetize some of those channels that way. Lisa also said, oh, is this the same comment? Sorry, it's the same comment, Lisa. That's totally cool. But think about that. Like, there's just all these ideas. If you can organize yourself well enough, then you could take advantage of ways to even turn it into a monetized idea. And we're always looking for growing in that way so that you can fund other projects, right? So if you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to try something fun and see if I can monetize that pretty quickly and then, use it to maybe purchase some, new things online or etcetera. A place that you can go, so that you can find some good deals on things that you wanna try out as tech is AppSumo, and I'm sure I have some kind of affiliate thing for that, but I always forget to copy paste it and things. But anyway, if you find it on your own, no big deal to me because it's a good place to find great software for a very, very low price. But just be aware that some of it is just beta testing and it may not have all the full capacity, but I'll just tell you that I have purchased several things from AppSumo where I only paid maybe around $50, $100, and I'm still using it to this day, and I have a lifetime license to it. So, meaning I never had to pay past that first purchase, and that's if after so many years. Let's say you pay for something $30 a month that adds up, so that's over $300 a year, and especially if I've used something for maybe 3 years, that's almost $1,000 right there, and just purchasing 1 license that was good for a lifetime, so that's a place where you can find some of those deals like that, test out different platforms without having to worry about, like, canceling a monthly or, you know, paying too much for it where by next month it could be replaced by another platform. So it's a good place to go and, like, check out what's up and coming. Um, and for those looking for a CRM to help them get organized, you heard me mention it already, but Notion is my favorite, Notion. Notion also has a AI already built in. So if you're thinking that I don't wanna keep jumping back and forth from different platforms just to utilize, like, a ChatGPT, then if you upgrade your Notion, I believe it's only like 15 bucks a month to use that with the AI. It's fantastic. So I use it for my CRM. I put different like bookmarks for things or articles that I want to write. I know Casey and I use it as our dashboard, project dashboard. I use it for my clients so that we can keep track of the different strategies that we're putting together. It's such a good tool. And it's one of those platforms that I like it also on the phone. You ever seen platforms that work fantastic on the phone, but then it's terrible on the computer and then vice versa? I think with Notion, it is like it's great because it's seamless, and I really enjoy that I'm not frustrated by one experience and I can have both places work really well. So that's one of my favorite ones, and also you.com, you.com. I like that platform so much because what it does is aggregates different AIs to just one platform. So if you want to test out Claude, Sonnet, if you want to check out the Llama, even Gemini, ChatGPT, all the different versions of ChatGPT, it's all in that one platform. So you're not having to pay here, 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 here. It just brings it all together. And you can create your own AI agent from that platform so that you can already have like certain agents. And you're probably asking, what is an AI agent? Um, an AI agent is something that you program that has like already the context so that you're not having to reprompt that same context over and over. So let's say you're writing a book and you design an AI agent that is a great I guess publishing expert and also great editor. Like you give it these characteristics that you want, and then every time you're in that book project, you would choose that AI agent to be the one to help you with your content development that you're prompting the AI to do. So you can have different personas as your AI agent, and that's all in there in that you.com platform, which is pretty exciting. And then yeah, so definitely check that out. If you have any questions about certain things, you can ask a fellow human, like, how they're using it, and, we can definitely share it back and forth. Okay, so we have about 15 minutes left, and, that's my gift to you guys is let's chat, let's network, let's bridge new ideas. I'll keep chatting because 'cause I'm always, like, excited to share many things, but if there's something specific to you, I definitely wanna see it in the comments so that, maybe you have a fun event coming up, and maybe it's not even a question, but maybe there's something that I can share with you that might help that go a whole lot better. So Casey, let me know if how many people are still on so that I can make sure that I'm sharing correctly here. And then also, you know what? I think there was a couple more questions, but I wasn't sure how many we would get to. But let me see if I can pull that up real quick so that if I can answer those as well, we can even share more good things. Okay, so let's see here. There was something about how do I know when it's time to pivot my brand strategy? Ooh, that's a good one. So let me copy that and then we'll put it in the comments here. Not comments, but the banners. So you could see this pretty cool question. Okay, so here we go. So the question is, how do I know when it's time to pivot my brand strategy? I love this question because there's a word that if you've heard me say this before and if you've been following me for a while, the word is ikigai. So ikigai simplified. Okay, I'm just going to post that here. This word simplified is a Japanese philosophy on how to find your purpose. You ask yourself four main questions. what do I love? What am I good at? What can I get paid for? And what does the world need? So, whenever I think about brand strategy, and especially if it's a personal brand or there's a visionary behind the brand, let's ask those questions periodically, even monthly. And if you're still feeling aligned and the questions are still enthusiastically answered by whatever you're doing right now, then, one, you're in the right place. And then maybe within those questions, then there's some finessing, and then the word that I'm honing right now is refined. Maybe there's some refining that you can do in your brand strategy, but you're not technically pivoting it because everything still aligns. What do I love? What am I good at? What can I get paid for? What does the world need? If all of that is still aligning, then there should be no big pivot that you have to make. It would just be, again, refining or maybe exploring places that you haven't showcased your brand yet. If it's a pivot, I feel like it's because the mission has changed, maybe the audience has greatly changed, and if you feel that and you're just like, "Huh, I'm really tired of, like, I don't love it as much anymore." Like, there's something else coming about that is gonna take place on that. Or maybe technology has changed and the game has changed, so maybe you don't feel as good at that anymore. Or let's say there's a situation like Blockbuster. Remember that chain where you would go walk over to the store, find the movie that you like, and then Netflix came about, totally wiped that off. So people were not purchasing that anymore because streaming was much more convenient. So, what can I get paid for? Be hard to get paid for a Blockbuster if you own that. So, if any of those things change in those questions, or what does the world need? Maybe they don't need that anymore, then that's when it's time to fully pivot your brand strategy, or maybe even like your full mission and in the general regard of what you're doing as a business. But if you look up the word ikigai, there's some really great charts that if you want to just have it visually, print it out and put it on your wall, it kind of keeps you connected to what you're doing. And I know most of us want to wake up and feel really connected with our mission and our purpose. And the best way to do that is to be honest. Do you really love it? Is there something that you're missing from your process that you need to get better at? So, learning to grow within your own industry is important when answering that question, what am I good at? Because some skills need to keep uh, developing in order for it to be at that expert level. And part of, like, some of the things that I do, and if some of you are curious to know, like, ways that perhaps, like, we can connect even deeper with your business plan and your marketing plan, etcetera, I love doing, like, one-to-one, strategy type of work, but then also if you want to be with us in our community, I'm putting it here, we rebranded that. So, speaking of rebranding, part of what was missing was the framework that I always, like, love, and I'm not sure if I'm typing this correctly, but I'm about to post it up here. Um, and so it used to be called 1K in a day, which meant that we were trying to create processes that would turn into revenue if properly planned, would provide income of 1K in one day as a promotion type of goal. And but I felt like there was still some more marks that I wanted to make sure that people really understood. So the rebrand is now called Refined Strategic Blueprint, because without the refinement of the strategies, and if you're not laying out the full map of all the things that you're trying to accomplish for that promotion, then we're only concentrating on, oh, am I getting to that monetary amount? But that wasn't what it was about. Even though that's always exciting, and yes, people have done really great things with that. My thought is that it should be replicable. When you're doing a strategy, when you're doing a promotion, you shouldn't have to keep reinventing the wheel. You should have something very steady. There's different marketing cycles and sales cycles that you have to think about. Some are one and done, some are recurring, some of them are little little types of transactions, and some things are big transactions. So where do you have that in your SOP so that if you were to even just maybe sell it or license your business out there, that all that intellectual property already exists, and you can also delegate when you have a blueprint for all your strategies. So if you're growing your team, you're hiring a VA, you have an assistant, you have other people that you would like to involve into your company, having these types of strategies written out, put in the right places, and executed correctly is so helpful. And it really does streamline your business and then creates new forms of revenue, things that you probably couldn't even get to because you kept trying to struggle with this one point of revenue. You should get to the point where you've mastered that, then you're ready to move on. You're ready to move on because you've completed things, you've seen it through, and then you're able to then refine it, right? Like, I think it also gets rid of a little bit of what I see as self sabotage. Some people put so much on their plate that, of course, they're not going to be able to concentrate fully on that one strategy or that tactic. And then the excuse is, I didn't have time, or it came on too quick and we had other priorities to manage. And then you're just in this cycle of um, hate to say it, it's a cycle of excuses, and then it creates havoc in the business's bottom line. And then you're left with a really terrible profit margin versus, hey, you know what? We've done this so well over the years because we kept learning from our processes, and we really sat down and looked at where did we miss the mark? Can we make that better? What am I good at? What is my company good at? We will love it if we know that we've defined what we needed to do in order to improve at the next step instead of saying, that didn't work, throw it out the window. Let's start with something fresh and new. I feel like that's okay for some cases, but then in other cases, that could be a detriment because you're starting from scratch yet all over again. And you're not even keeping some of the strategies you did before. Well, then how are you ever going to refine it? So the word refined is huge in my world right now, and it should be big in yours. And if there's like things that you need as far as accountability, I'm not a rough person. So I'm more of a cheerleader type of person. So I push to an extent, I will poke to an extent, but I also feel like we can be very compassionate in helping people reach their goals. I feel like if we look at the big picture and noted where things may have gone askew, then it's not an emotional smack, right? It's not even about that. It's not making somebody feel bad because they missed the mark. It's saying, here's where we need to really make some changes and we can do it together. Let's improve that. And there's really cool ways that we can do that now that you've tested it, now that you've seen that, oh, you know what? I do need a little bit more lead time for people to attend my amazing event. I can't just market it in 4 weeks and then expect to sell out the tickets. I need to be out there months and months in advance, creating different touch points and then notating which touch points those were so that if I want to do this as an annual event, then I already have all the plans. And then the next steps would just be delegating. Or it could be that, maybe we don't spend as much on this form of marketing. Let's put our funding over here because we've seen how that moved the needle versus this. But so it's just an incremental piece of a bigger strategy. We didn't throw away the whole strategy. We're tweaking all the different things within that one bigger framework, and then we would have more success from it. And that's what I love to see. That's what the refined strategic blueprint mastermind is about. That's what I do as a consultant, and parts of like really kind of honing in a step here and there could be just the one thing that moves the needle. Okay, so we're kind of getting there, we're getting close on time. If there was something that you took away from this, like one aha moment, please share it in the comments. I'd love to hear which thing like really stood out, and so maybe something that you're wanting to try and utilize for your business. And if you're watching the replay, same thing. Don't forget to comment and just make your presence known. And all these beautiful names like Lisa, Plantine, Yolanda, Casey, Richard, Renee. really beautiful having you all here. And of course, get to know each other, like share your networks and see how there's more collaborations that could be had in a space like this. All right, so things to look forward to. I'm looking at throwing together a summit at the last Friday of the year. So if you want to like celebrate the holidays with me and also get some planning done, looking at honing in on things that's going to be helpful for the age of AI, ways that we can put our content out there in a more authentic way, and really workshopping through certain points that I may have already brought up today in a summit. And then since it's a summit, always looking for great people to align with and present at such summit. And if that's you, you may be hearing maybe hearing from me, or I'd love to hear from you directly and see if we can collaborate in those many ways. So, Lisa, you're so welcome. I thank you so much for being here and for sharing your energy and yeah, for all that you do for the world. So I think that's what it takes. We are all part of a bigger picture in life. We are here for many reasons, and I truly believe that everyone is a gift, and we are meant to use our gifts and talents as well as we can. So that's, I think, pretty much that. If I miss your comment, I definitely will respond to you later. I do appreciate your time here tonight. And let's stay connected. I look forward to coming back on next week. So my plan is 3 times this month on a Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, not Thanksgiving, because that's time with family. So I don't know yet what our December schedule will be, but I also have a webinar coming up that we're going to do some deep diving in regards to efficiencies and processes utilizing technology, AI, etc. So look out for that. So that's going to be on a Tuesday around 11:30 Eastern, or just be look out for those details as well. All right. So until next time, I do appreciate you, and thank you, Yolanda. She just put here that Pure Cinema USA is a 501(c) Christian nonprofit, and they are looking for Christian speakers. So if you want to be considered, I guess we'll look up their information to see how to best submit for that. And I think that's fantastic. I certainly know some really wonderful speakers that would definitely be excited to hear about that. So thank you, Yolanda, for sharing that. And yeah, so wonderful things. DM me if there's something you all need. And if there's a topic you'd like for me to research and share, I also am interested in things like that too. So until next time, I wish you all the best, and keep your head up, share with others, realize your gifts, and fully expand on it. So refine your life, refine your business. We're all here for that. And I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. So bye for now, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.